All right, everybody, we're back. It's week one. It's over. We got a little win, 34 to
Hopefully,
30.
hopefully the first of many, you know?
Hopefully, the first of many. Exactly. And welcome back to the Taped Online podcast. It is me and BD Williams. Like I said, every single week, like I say every single week, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Shout out to all the subscribers. We had over 200 after the last podcast, so we really, really, really appreciate you guys. You guys are definitely sticking with us, and leave us a lot of good comments, a lot of good feedback. So we really, really appreciate that. So keep listening to us, and make sure you keep hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you go on Apple and Spotify. We're both on those too. Make sure you go download on Spotify, listen on Apple. If you don't have the time to listen on YouTube and you need to do a nice little drive, you could also listen to us on Apple and Spotify. All right. And you can also follow us on Twitter at BD Williams 18 for BD. And then me, I am at the Mark John NFL. So once again, that's at BD Williams 18. I am at the Mark John NFL. So make sure you guys follow us on both those, on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, down on Spotify, subscribe on Apple. All right. So make sure you hit us all in all those areas. All right. So how you feeling, BD? How you feel about week one?
Yeah, man, it was good. It was good. I feel great about it, honestly. Everyone's going to be sloppy. No
Mm-hmm.
preseason. There's no film on Carolina at all.
No. Mm-mm.
So, and you put that clip out where they're running that three deep dime Big 12 defense, like how are you supposed to prepare for everything that, you're going to see? So Raiders did a great job, I think,
Yeah.
going away, on the road, no film, no preseason, gutting out a win like that, when you got to come back in the fourth quarter. So I think the fans should be really proud of the way that they performed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. I think the defense. They're young. But what I think about the defense, which BD will be going over the defense today. I'll be covering the offense for week one. One thing I will say about the defense is, they look faster, which is a big thing for me. They look way faster. Uh, they weren't out of position as much as they usually were last year. There's not a lot of mental mistakes as there was in that game, especially for a first game. I was expecting to see a lot more mental mistakes, and the one mistake was made by Damon Arnett, but that wasn't more. While that was a mental mistake, it wasn't like a straight up mental error. That was more just like a rookie just being
Yeah.
aggressive and over, trying to get a pick six based on a blitz or whatever that he thought he was gonna, whatever he thought he was gonna get based on what was going on during the game. They kind of just surprised him with the deep call.
His hand was caught in the cookie jar. Okay. He was, Damon Arnett. I didn't include this in the breakdown. I was thinking about including it in the breakdown, but I decided against it. But basically, fans on the Damon Arnett play that gave up 33% of the passing yards that Teddy Bridgewater threw for him on one play. Okay. So the stats are, the stats are what they are, but just keep that in
Yeah,
mind. But Damon Arnett, he's like 5-6 yards away from Robbie Anderson. He sees Robbie Anderson break out to the out route, and he makes a fundamental mistake because when he breaks, then his eyes go to the quarterback, even though he's got all that space in between him. And when you break and you're that far away, it's called being out of phase. You
yeah,
got to drive on the man. You got to keep your eyes on the man until you make that ground up. So just little eye violations. He's gonna fix that.
yeah.
That's something that's gonna happen. And if you remember last year, week one, I think Garyon Conley got hurt and Trayvon
Hmm.
Mullen came in. He gave up a big play, right? You
Yeah.
remember last year, week one, and he
Hmm.
was gangbusters after that. So it's gonna happen. That's a welcome to the NFL moment for Damon Arnett for sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it was kind of funny. A lot of things we talked last week, a lot of things they did, like 12 personnel. They were in 12 personnel a lot. They didn't throw from 12 personnel as much as I wanted to, but they ran from 12 personnel a lot. They had about 4.6 yards per carry. They just moved the ball pretty consistently against 12 personnel, especially with the Panthers paying three safeties. They were able to run the ball and do it and kind of control the game for the most part. Besides that big play, like you said, the Raiders are pretty much in control of this game. I think the score was a lot closer than it should have been. There's a lot of things that can go into that, but you know, John Gruden, he gets a little conservative sometimes, but uh, I think that as the season goes along, I think everything's gonna start clicking a little better. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, we've been doing rookie breakdowns and certain scheme things on offense and defense that we wanted to keep an eye on. But now this is real. This is real footage that we're going to show you guys from week one. I'm going to break down the defense. My boy Marcus is going to break down the offense. We're saving the best for last. Offense goes last because, that's ended on a high note, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to break down the defense. I know a lot of people were really down on the defense, but I saw some good things, especially going back and watching over in it and being able to, pause it and replay it. I saw some things that were really encouraging. So let's just get into it.
Yeah. We apologize for no all 22, but to blame Game Pass.
Yeah. Right.
Disclaimer.
Hopefully in the coming weeks when you tune into this show, we were waiting. We were trying to drop the episode earlier in the week, guys, but the all 22 just never came out. So hopefully the all 22 comes out earlier in a timely fashion next week, and you can see some all 22. So yeah, Marcus and I apologize that there isn't all 22 to show you guys. All right, so Raiders defense week one, we saw some good things. We saw some bad things, obviously. And the burning question on everyone's mind is what happened with the pass rush. And this is just something that I want to make sure Raiders fans understand about the pass rush, okay? And Paul Guenther's scheme, what he wants to do first and foremost is stop the run. And I know if you're, a fan of football, 90% of fans, you're going to be watching it. You're going to see a quarterback drop back and be throwing the ball, and you're going to say, why aren't these guys getting more upfield? Okay. And for those who are uninitiated, I just want to explain to you, not every pass play is the defensive line going to be rushing the passer. And what I mean by that is there are going to be some pass plays that happen on run situations, on run downs, okay, where the defensive line, first and foremost, is trying to build a wall and stop the run. And this is an example of a play like that happening, where we see the three guys, the two defensive tackles, and then Cleveland Ferrell on the right side of the formation, okay, play the run and not the pass. And let's just look at this. So this was a second and short situation. I believe this came in correct me if I'm wrong, this came in the first quarter, Marcus, this play?
Yes, it did. Uh-huh.
All right, and we see the Raiders, they got an 8-man box. So they're coming to stop the run, right? We see Carolina come out. They have 21 personnel. They're in a run formation. They got a fullback, a lead back, right? And Paul Guenther's biggest thing is he does not want Christian McCaffrey to take the game over, okay? Mm-hmm. So he's asking his defensive linemen to stop the run first and really get into a pass rush, obviously, once they see that it's pass. But their very first thing is they need to stop the run, okay? So we see the Raiders come out. They have a heavy, an 8-man box here, okay? And when the play starts, let's just pause and look. These three defensive linemen, we got Kendall Vickers, we got Malik Collins, and we got Cleveland Ferrell. These guys are not penetrating, okay? They're trying to do what's called build a wall, meaning they want to clog the lanes, get their head in their gap, force double teams. They are playing the run here, right? And the only defensive lineman who is rushing the passer actually happens to be Max Crosby. And I think that this is a bit of Max Crosby freelancing here, if I had to guess. Okay. And he made a calculated guess and he ended up being right because it was a pass play. But look what would have happened if this was a run, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a great calculated guess. And it is possible that this could have just been a call, like the open side defensive end can just go ahead and rush the passer and not have to worry about so it's 50-50. It could be that this is designed where Max Crosby is just supposed to pin his ears back and go. But in this run situation, when you look at the way that the rest of the defensive line is playing, this, if this were to be a run, Max Crosby would have opened up a huge gap, right? Which is why you can't just rush the passer every down. You also have to play a run in run situations, right?
Yeah, that's the Yannick, because Yannick doesn't play around. He just goes
He just
and opens up
goes.
the gap.
Right. There you go.
He's,
Right. And so what happens is it causes it could cause, if this were a run play, a breakdown in the scheme if a player were to freelance like this all the time. Okay.
mm-hmm.
And again, this is second and short. They come out in 21 personnel, meaning they got a fullback in the backfield. They're trying to stop the run here first and foremost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I think people neglect to realize or just fail to realize about Paul Guenther's scheme is very often he's going to be asking his defensive line to do this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He wants his defensive lineman to do this before he wants them to rush the passer. So I see that a lot of people were like, hey, where's the pass rush? The pass rush still isn't getting home. The pass rush still sucks, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's really an indictment of the pass rushers, of the people who are playing defensive line. I think it's more of an indictment of Paul Guenther and the techniques that he asks. He is more focused on making sure his defense isn't getting gashed in the run game than rushing the passer.
Now, let me ask you this, BD. Do you think that is a fault, or what? How do you feel about that?
Well, the thing is, if you're running, allowing huge runs, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it impossible to call a game as a defensive coordinator when you're constantly in second and third and shorts, right? Because the entire playbook is open to the offense, right? So Paul Guenther really wants to get, his defense into third and long situations because it condenses the playbook for the offense, and then it opens up the blitz packages that you could throw at a team when you get into third and long. So it makes it easier on a defensive coordinator when you're in third and long. And the way you get to third and long is by stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why that's a focus. There's obviously different schools of thought on this, different camps, but I think that the way that the Raiders play defense is they would like to, we've yet to see this like actually bear fruit, but they'd like to play a bend, don't break style of defense.
Okay.
Whereas other defenses, the Chiefs defense being one of them, the Rams defense last few years, maybe Baltimore's defense, those defenses are more interested in creating splash plays. And, whatever the score is at the end of the game, whatever, they just want to have picks and sacks and fumbles. That's what their focus is. Whereas Paul Guenther's focus is stopping the run first and making the field long for the offense.
Okay.
Now, this is an example of when they actually were rushing the passer. Again, sometimes the defensive line is not rushing the passer. They are just trying to get their head in their gap and stop the run. This is an example, though, when they are rushing the passer and the pass rush is not great. So I'm not trying to make excuses for the pass rush and say, hey, actually, these guys are really good. Like, no, there's still definitely room for improvement.
Yeah.
Okay? But I think that a lot of it has to do with the scheme, and it's not necessarily an indictment on the players. This, though, is an indictment on the players. So we see Cleveland Ferrell and Malik Collins are the defensive tackles, and they're executing a Texas stunt. So one tackle goes and the other tackle crosses. That's what they call it, a Texas, TX, tackle cross.
Yeah.
Now, and the defensive ends are shooting upfield. They are, like, notice when you watch this rep, they're not getting their hands on their half man. They're just trying to get into the backfield. Now, the defensive ends do a really good job here because they're getting to the back of the pocket and they're forcing Teddy Bridgewater to step up. The problem, though, with this play is that the pressure up the middle generated by Cleveland Ferrell and Malik Collins just never gets there. And so Teddy Bridgewater is able to step up into a clean pocket, which you hope doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the pass rush definitely needs to improve. But don't be confused and think that every single time Teddy Bridgewater is stepping back for a pass, that they're actually trying to rush the passer. A lot of times, especially, heavy run teams with a great back, Paul Guenther is going to sacrifice the pass rush to make sure that that back doesn't take over the game.
Okay.
And an aside, this is one hell of an open field tackle by Johnny.
I know. I hate him.
My goodness. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is single high versus split field coverages. Now, single high means we have a free safety back here in the middle of the field and a strong safety in the box, okay? It could be cover one, it could be cover three, right? Single high, it means one safety in the middle of the field. And that the difference between single high and split field coverage is, split field coverage is like cover four or cover two when you have two deep safeties, two man, okay? The Raiders actually were vastly better in single high defense than they were in split field coverages this week. And I think the difference was like, it was something like a little over 4 yards allowed per play in single high. This is my own charting, by the way,
Yeah.
Raider Nation. And when they were in split field coverages, I think it was almost like 6.5, 7 yards per carry. We don't have the all 22 out, so there was about 11 plays on defense that I was not able to figure out what exactly the call was. Okay. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm gonna have to go back if they ever do end up releasing the all 22. I'm gonna have to go back and actually like do the actual numbers and figure out. But it seemed like the Raiders were just so much better when they were in single high. And the reason why is, first of all, single high is really good against the run because obviously you get an 8-man box. Okay, the safety walks up, he's in the box, and just keep your eyes on John Abram right here. He's gonna key these tight ends. He sees that they're run blocking, and he gets down there to make a run stop against Christian McCaffrey. Okay, another example of the Raiders getting into a single high is they ran a lot more cover three than I've ever seen them run under Paul Guenther, which is definitely an interesting departure. I think it has to do a lot with the linebackers that they have now, because I think that they were a little worried about the linebackers being in zone coverage and just wanted them to just simplify their role and just run with a running back one way or the other. But now you can do a lot more things with Nick Kwiatkowski and definitely Corey Littleton. This is an example of what's called cover three buzz. Buzz means that you have the free safety now be the safety who comes down into the box, and John Abram is the strong safety, and he's back playing in the middle of the field here. Okay. Yeah. And so what we have here is we have the nickel down at the bottom towards the numbers at the bottom of the screen. He's playing the seam curl flat on one side of the field, and then Eric Harris is playing the seam curl flat on the other side of the field. And this is a really good coverage rep from LaMarcus Joyner, who ends up undercutting this seam throw to Robbie Anderson. And breaking this pass up. So single high works against run, it works against pass. And especially if the Raiders start throwing in different looks than they have in the past, as far as getting into all the different cover threes that, are available to them. We could be seeing a lot more, cover three, but definitely more efficiency in single high defense. The next part, go ahead.
That's super interesting that they ran cover three, because I remember I mentioned that to you because I was looking at Sports Info Solutions charting, just trying to see what they were running, and they had them at cover three the most, and I was like, man, that can't be right. So that's why when I asked you that, and you were like, I saw a lot of that, I was like, man, that's weird, because they rarely ran cover three. Like the past 2 years, or I've rarely seen Paul Guenther run cover three ever. I mean, it's not even part of like the Mike Zimmer tree. Like Mike Zimmer doesn't run a lot of cover three. Right. So that was super interesting, that change. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry to kind of interrupt what you're doing.
You're good.
Do you think Rod Marinelli has anything to do with this?
They ran a lot of cover three with Ron Marinelli, in Dallas. I think it has something to do with it, for sure.
Okay.
And also, just to keep in mind here, with what Paul Guenther had in the past, Carl Joseph, I love Carl Joseph, but he was a guy that you had to hide in coverage. Tahir Whitehead, he was another guy you had to hide in coverage. So when you have all these starters that are really, really one-dimensional in terms of like the responsibilities you can ask them to do, you have to kind of simplify your pass coverage game plan. And now that you have, these linebackers who can really cover, I think that Eric Harris is definitely, playing in the box in zone and not man is definitely more suited to what his skill set is. So I think you have I think Paul Guenther now has the ability now to get into these kind of different kind of looks. So when they are going single high, being able to disguise it a little bit more. Is it man? Is it zone? And, I think a situation like that is going to happen right there.
Okay. That's cool.
The next thing I want to talk about is what I call the Littleton effect. Really, this is the most exciting thing that I've seen from Paul Guenther since he's come. Okay. The most exciting game plan, the most exciting scheme that I've seen from Paul Guenther came this week, and it has everything to do with Corey Littleton. Okay. Now, let's look at this, and I posted this on Twitter, but I'm going to really dive deep into this right now. The Panthers come out with an empty formation. Their running back is at the top of the screen. The tight end is in the near slot towards the top of the screen, and then you have 3 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen. Okay. Now, the way that the Raiders line up against this, okay, is that they walk Corey Littleton out over Christian McCaffrey, who's playing wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey is lined up at wide receiver. Corey Littleton walks out on him. You have a strong safety, John Abram, over the tight end on that same side. And then you have 3 corners on the same side where the wide receivers are lined up. Now, 99.9% of the time, when you see an alignment like this means they're playing man. They're playing man coverage. 99.9% of the time you are playing. If you get a corner over means there's no wide receiver on the other side of the field. They walk the corner over to the side where there's multiple wide receivers, and he plays man coverage over there. Corner over means man. So if you're, a high school quarterback, you're a college quarterback, and you see corner over, your offensive coordinator is going to say that's man coverage. Okay, so it's almost like they do this where they put the running back and the tight end on one side and they put the wide receivers on the other side to identify what the coverage is. Okay, and the incredible part about this is that even though they line up like it's man, and 99.9% of the time when they do line up like this, it is man, they end up playing cover 2 where Trayvon Mullen, he's over the 3rd wide receiver. He bails into the deep half like he's a safety. And then Corey Littleton at the top of the screen, lined up over the running back who's split out wide like a wide receiver. Corey Littleton plays cover 2 like he's a corner. Okay. And you see him here. He shuffles, okay, to mirror the release. And then he bails and he cushions the corner route from the number 2 wide receiver. I mean, he's doing that like he's a corner. Okay. You got a linebacker out here executing a cloud corner technique. This is fantastic. This is very heady stuff, and I literally have only ever seen this done one other time. I'm sure it's been done before, but this is something that I think that the best defenses do. Now, the problem on this play, and the reason why it can't be a full highlight, is you got LaMarcus Joyner again, and let's just run back here. LaMarcus Joyner, he's over the slot. He should be playing the hook because they're playing cover 2. Everyone else is playing cover 2, okay, except for LaMarcus Joyner. He thinks he has quarters for some reason where he needs to get to the flat, and what happens is it opens up a big hole in the defense, and it's an easy throw and catch for Teddy Bridgewater because LaMarcus Joyner has a mental error here. So you would hope that LaMarcus Joyner can kind of, trust his Damon Arnett to get out there and, actually play his role in the defense and just do his job. And stop guessing. So hopefully we see that happen in the future. Another thing that I thought was really interesting, and this is an example of a creeper. If you tuned in last week, we talked about sim pressures, creeper pressures, and this is one example of a creeper pressure where it looks like it's a blitz, but there's only 4 men coming, LaMarcus Joyner being a blitzer, and then a defensive end is dropping. Okay. And what they're doing here is they're playing Tampa 2 coverage, okay, behind a creeper pressure. All right. So let me just talk talk you through it for people who might be listening on Apple or Spotify. You have at the top of the screen, you have Trayvon Mullen over the number one wide receiver. You have Jonathan Abram down in the box. Looks like he's playing single high. It looks like we're in cover one here because Jonathan Abrams is in the box. And then you have, an 8-man box with LaMarcus Joyner on the other side. Okay. And what happens is LaMarcus Joyner blitzes, and a defensive end, who this ends up being Carl Nassib, drops to the hook, and they end up playing cover 2 on top of this, or an inverted 2, because Trayvon Mullen is bailing to the deep half. But the interesting part about this is that we have Corey Littleton keying the release from the strong side and matching the vertical. And it's really hard to see right here. I'm sorry, because we're on the broadcast. Okay. But Corey Littleton keys the vertical release from the inside most receiver, and he takes what's called the final 3. Okay. And Corey Littleton walls him off, and I'm guessing does enough here to disrupt this route, or force Seth Roberts, former Raider Seth Roberts, to adjust his route, throws off the timing of this play. And so you have Corey Littleton now going from playing cloud corner to the deep hole in a cover 2, Tampa 2. And then on this next play, you see him blitzing. Okay, so he literally is doing everything in this defense. And you have, Paul Gunther now has at his disposal a player who can do just about everything that is being asked of him. Okay, this time he's rushing off the edge. He misses Teddy Bridgewater, but you see him, he does a great job swatting the hands away. And I thought that on tape, he was a good blitzer. In LA, they just never used him, or rarely used him like that. So I definitely think that this is a strong part of his game. And we see him beat a left tackle here, win with his hands, just missed Teddy Bridgewater, who's a slippery guy. But, I fully expect Corey Littleton to rack up a few sacks, maybe 3-4 sacks this season, doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Drew Brees won't be able to move this week if that happens. So let's be real. Drew Brees ain't moving like Teddy Bridgewater. All right, man. So I mean, after watching that, BD, you gotta be a little excited, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You gotta be a little excited for the creativity. I know they didn't execute like they wanted to, maybe. Let's say that. But I think a couple things that Raiders fans need to relax about is that, one, it's week 1, right?
No,
so we don't know a couple things.
Right.
We don't know if the Panthers have a really good offense, and we might find that out later on.
Right.
They have a really good offense, and then they keep scoring a lot of points, and they keep moving the ball, and they keep being super efficient, and they score a lot of points this year. I mean, we don't know how good the Panthers offense is, right? What we do know on the flip side with the offense is that if the Panthers defense is as bad as, which I'll get into, if the Panthers defense is as bad as we think, I mean, the Raiders are still able to go in there and didn't disappoint, and they're able to put the points up and move the ball how they want to. So I think fans, I got to realize that it's week 1. The Raiders went in there on the road, and they won a tough game against a team that really nobody knows anything about. Joe Brady's, they had to watch LSU, and then, like we were talking about, they were under center a lot more than he ever was in college.
Yeah.
Right. So since they were under center a lot, it's a lot of different things. They really didn't know what they were coming up against.
Right.
And they didn't do as much stuff as Joe Brady did in LSU. I mean, I just watching that game, and off the rewatch too. I just there was a lot of empty and stuff like that, but it wasn't like it wasn't the offense that I watched or that we covered the week before. It was totally different NFL offense. I mean, it was more like the Saints offense now, and I mean, he adapted to the NFL, so we don't know how that's going to go. They might be a really good offense. Teddy might have a good year. Robbie Anderson might have a good year.
One thing I'll say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I'll say. Joe Brady is going to be a head coach in like 3 years. That was a great game plan that he called. That was a great game that he called. I mean, a lot of things are setting things up for each other. Mm-hmm. Plays that are sequenced off of another play. He did a fantastic job, I think, and they're kind of like a ball control offense right now
Yeah.
because they got probably one of the best backs in football. No one's going to argue with me on that one.
Hmm.
And so that's obviously the strength of their team. And then you're putting Teddy Bridgewater into areas where that play up to his strengths
Yeah.
as far as like the ball control and the horizontal passing game right there. Yeah, he called a heck of a game. If this guy gets a fantastic quarterback, it's a wrap.
That's what I'm saying. So,
Joe Brady's the real deal. This guy, it really can. He called his that game. Like he put his foot in it really. So, great job by Joe Brady. It was a tough test. It was a good test, because
yeah.
they saw a lot of things. And when you have a back like that, you're put in a bind as a defense. Like what do you want to stop? And once their passing game started to hum a little bit, that's like a offensive coordinator's worst nightmare. Or I'm sorry, a
Yeah.
defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. Are you going to stop the running back, or are you going to stop this passing offense that's starting to hum here? So they have another one like that coming up with the Saints and Alvin Kamara, and obviously Drew Brees is much better than that. So so we'll see. But Joe Brady, hats off to him. That guy can really call a game.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That why fans maybe need to. I mean, week one, we really don't know what's going on, and even with their preseason, I mean, week one will fool you, even
Yeah,
with preseason and
right.
stuff like that. I mean, I talked about a couple times with pro scouting when I was going to the scouting academy, and we were going over pro scouting. They talked about how week 1 and 2 nobody really knows nobody knows what anybody's doing, and that's with preseason. So if you can imagine right now what that's like, you're going to see a lot of mirages, and then after week 3 they kind of have 2 weeks of tape on you, and they got to kind of get your tendencies, and everything starts
Yeah,
picking up on you a little bit, and then you got to start adjusting. So
yeah,
um, yeah, people just need to calm down a little bit. I mean, like you give up 30 points the first week, like even like I watched the Saints game, and the Bucks defense, they put 34 points in, but the Bucks defense looked really really good the whole day. So it's like, are they going to give up 30 points every week? I doubt it, right? But I mean, if you look at it week 1, oh my God, they're a bad defense. But are they? You know what I mean? So you
yeah.
got to let things play out, basically what I'm saying.
Gotta let things play out. And they took the game plan. I think that the game plan that it most resembled from last year was the Titans game. When the Titans game, they had a running back,
Hmm.
obviously Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
fantastic back, and they were bringing their wide receivers in on what's called reduced splits or tight splits, right?
Hmm.
And it was, basically they had to adjust and have their corners back off. So you have Trayvon Mullen, who's a press corner, having to play, off man or cover 3 from 7-8 yards off, which is not his strength. And the reason why you couldn't just say, okay, screw it, we're going to press anyways, is because now you got, this running attack that you have to
Hmm.
really stop. So you prefer a safety in the box over a corner, right? So it did a great job of playing to the offensive strengths and putting the Raiders defense in a bind. But not every team is going to force the Raiders to make those kind of decisions. Not every team is going to have like this fantastic rushing attack that they need to account for at all times. That when the Raiders do see a team that doesn't have a great rushing attack, that's when you're going to see the pass rush. That's when you're going to see the 2-man and the press. Regardless of where the receivers are lined up, it'll open things up for Paul Gunther. But as long as there's a great defense, or I'm sorry, a great runner, Paul Gunther's going
Hmm.
to his main focus is stopping the run.
All right, all right. Yeah, and that's a good thing to look at. It kind of, and I think a lot of fans get frustrated by that anyways. I think some of them kind of maybe do understand that, but it's just so frustrating for them to see, everybody not be Yannick Ngakwe, basically. That's what they want. They want Yannick. They want
Yeah,
Yannick
they
just
just
to
want sacks.
just rush
Yeah,
off the line. Just let the running back go run past
yeah,
you. But
right.
that those sacks you get. You know what I
The
mean?
the fans do not care about run defense at all. Fans don't care. Look,
No, they don't.
but you have to understand that's the majority, especially like old school defensive coordinators. That's their main focus is to stop the run. That's like what they've been
Exactly.
taught. It's been ingrained in them. And obviously there's differing philosophies right now. A lot of people who are analytics people, probably, think that rushing the passer is more important and things like that. But if you talk to actual coaches in the NFL, coaches in college, coaches in high school, they're all going to say, we got to stop the run. That's the first and foremost, most important thing.
Exactly. All right. So that's defense. Great stuff, BD. That was the defense for this week. Like I said, it's got me a little bit more excited than I thought it would be this week. But we're good. We're good. It's I think this team's gonna be all right, man. I felt pretty good after watching that week. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like it was we'll see how it goes. But I feel like we're gonna be a little bit better than I thought.
I've been burned by the Raiders too many times to start saying I think they're gonna be good.
I'm not saying they could be good. I'm just saying. I just think I think they might.
Yeah.
They might do a little better. You know what I mean? Than I thought. So we'll check that out. All right. So let's get this going with the offense. Before I start getting into some of the things that I saw, I did want to talk about some of the charting I did. So I mean, I love the game plan that John Gruden them came with. I thought they had a great game plan. I thought they executed it perfectly too, especially in the first half. I thought they were able to move the ball at will. They were able to, complete passes at will. He had a great game plan for Ruggs, which I'll get into like a little kind of the message they're sending to the rest of the NFL, I think. But they had a great game plan for Ruggs. They're throwing downfield a lot at the beginning of the game. And throwing downfield set up the short game. And like I said, they were able to move the ball well. They were able to finish drives this year. I mean, they still average 6 yards a play. What I do is I do this thing when I chart, I call it success rate. I mean, a lot of people do use that. I don't know if you ever heard of that BD success rate. You ever heard that metric before?
Heard of it. I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is?
Yeah,
okay. So let's explain that. So basically success rate is on first down, you get 60% of the play. So like
first down, the distance, right?
Yeah, first down. So you get 40%. So it's like 4 yards or more, right?
Okay.
Successful play on first down. Second down is 60%. So whatever is left, you get 60%. That's a successful play. And then third down, of course, first down, right?
Yeah, right. You have to get a first down, right?
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. The Raiders, they had a total. Let me get this for you. They had a total of 59% success rate on the day. So they were able to move the ball at will. Running the ball, they're at 60%. And then we talked about 12 personnel. They're at 80% success rate running the ball from 12 personnel. So they were able to dominate. Especially with the Panthers playing such light safeties, they were able to dominate, just bully them basically, and move the ball at will, short passing, take some shots when they needed to take some shots. It was great, and I think, if the offense plays like that, they will be pretty successful going on for the rest of the year. So let's get into some of that. All right, so a couple of things I'm gonna get into with the Raiders offense. I want to talk about is the RPOs. I'm gonna get into the RPOs, which they were RPO heavy, which I love. But we're gonna start off with the deep ball first. All right. So we got this concept. So let me go back a little bit. This concept we got here is what we call the sail. All right. Now, the sail concept is a concept that the Raiders ran a ton last year, right? They ran the sail concept pretty consistently, and usually when they ran this concept, it would go always. Okay, yeah, exactly. Always, it will go to where you're going to see Darren Waller's running, right? Which is the out route, right? You got the out route right here, and then you got the kind of the seam kind of post play with the sail route, right? Now, I believe this is a message. This was a message to the NFL, because I'm going to show you guys a couple things. Because Carr could have went somewhere else with this ball, and I feel like this is for Tyrann Mathieu. I'm going to say that right now.
Right. This is for Tyrann Mathieu.
This is for Tyrann Mathieu. This play right here is for Tyrann. If he's watching, this is for, hey, if you want to go ahead and sit on that out route,
Right.
we got a little something for you this year. You ain't gonna be able
Yeah.
to sit on it. You're gonna have to stay honest, right? You're not
Right.
gonna just be able to play whatever you want to play. And that's what I think this message was, because I'm gonna run this a couple times, but I'm gonna show you that there's a little bit of different options for Carr here, right? So
This is probably the main reason they got Henry Ruggs is to open up, this so that people stop sitting on their short game,
exactly, and it's crazy. This is the first pass of the game, so like I said, this is a message.
Right.
And this play basically set up everything for the rest of this game. All right, so what we got here, what the coverage that we got here is basically, I mean, Carolina basically played quarters for most of the game.
Of course,
So I
yeah.
mean, they played quarters for most of the game. Um, they didn't really venture too much from that. At the end of the game, of course, they went to the three high safeties with the 3-3-5, which I thought was a little crazy, but especially at the end of the game, I figured they would have set it up, but they waited to the end to do that. But they always had three safeties on the field, right? So they're always kind of naturally in that, and they always kind of naturally play quarters. So since we have basically, I mean, think about that when they're running this route. So technically, if they're playing quarters, there's no reason for Carr to throw the Ruggs right here, because the safety's going to be there, right? There's really no reason for Carr to throw the Ruggs here, but he's going to. And that's what I'm saying. That's the message. There's a message here. There's these guys are telling the NFL that you can sit on that short stuff if you want to, but we'll see, right? So let's go ahead and run this real quick. All right, boom, deep ball, and I really feel like I think Ruggs himself, just from knowing how this play has been run, and maybe they probably run it the same way in practice, I think he slowed up a little bit, which we don't have the all 22. I know Baldy posted it a little bit, and he kind of showed exactly what was going on, but he kind of slowed up. And I really feel like if he went full speed, man, this would have been this would have been a serious message. This would have been a message. And Ruggs running the end zone in the first play yeah, that would have been a super message, man. And everybody would have been like waking up. It would have blew up Twitter. Everything would have went crazy, right?
Yeah, right.
But he slowed up a little bit on this. And since he slowed up, he wasn't able to track the football. And that's one thing I want to talk about Ruggs too, is, which we'll run it again, is that if fans think Ruggs is Deshaun Jackson, you're in trouble. You're not going to get what you want to get, right? Ruggs is not Deshaun Jackson. I really feel like Ruggs is really fast, but I really feel like he's more of an all-around receiver. So he can do a lot more things than just run deep, right? But he does have some issues tracking the football when the ball is in the air, and because
Interesting.
yeah, because you see that on tape, and you see a lot of people say that he doesn't play up to his actual speed when he's on the field, and this is kind of the same situation where Ruggs, if he was going full speed 4.27 Ruggs, that he's definitely catching this football, and I don't know if 25 is going to catch him himself, right? So, but let's look at this play a couple different things, right? I want you to look. So Carr is throwing into double coverage, right? It was an aggressive throw from Derek Carr, which I know a lot of fans want to see, because usually this play you'll see Witten. He's at the not Witten, Waller. He's running the out route. He's not open, right? Because the linebacker Shaq Thompson, he was backing up on Waller, right? He's not open, but I'm gonna show you what usually Derek Carr would do here on these type of situations, or if this was a first down and then we're trying to send a message. So let's watch it. So right here. There's Jason Witten right there. That's the first down. Here's Jason Witten. First down. Jason Witten gets his first catch. So that first catch he got at the goal line. He's getting the first down. Right? That's usually kind of if Carr was going through his usual pre-snap, I got quarters, I got too high, post snap, I still got quarters. I really see him throwing to Witten like 99% of the time on this play. Just from knowing Derek Carr's tendency and how he is, he's going to throw to Witten, which is a smart throw. If he throws to Witten first down, we're still going. There's no 3 and out the first drive. But once again, I'm going to say it one more time. This was a message throw.
I like
And
it.
it's a good throw, and I like it too. I like it. Send a message, let these guys know that what's going on here, right? So this next play, which I know this is probably Carr's best throw of the day, which I really feel like Carr was steady the whole game, and I really feel like if he's steady for most games, the Raiders are offense will stay on schedule and will be fine if he's steady and he doesn't have to. I mean, because Derek Carr is a mid-tier quarterback, so he's going to have some really good games. He's going to have some games where he's going to look really great. But the other games that we just don't want him to have bad games where he's just doesn't look. He just looks completely lost and it just looks ugly. But we want more games like this Panthers game where he just doesn't get in the way. Like he's basically just steady, made the right reads, got him into the right plays, got him into the right checks, made the right reads on everything that he's doing and not making any mistakes, not throwing the ball in traffic, keeping the ball safe. As long as he's staying on schedule, the Raiders will be fine on offense. But
Yeah.
what they need is to sprinkle in a couple little things like this. So if we sprinkle in something like this play what we got here, this is really going to help, right? So this is the usual bunch that we usually see. Usually we see a lot of people call it arches, delayed slants, F slant, whatever they want to call it, right? We usually see something different from here, right? But what we're going to get is we're going to get a little bit of a mesh too on this. So Renfro and Edwards are going to do a mesh, okay? Usually with the mesh, what John Green likes to do, he likes to send Jalen Richard on the wheel with the mesh, which I still think if he did this, he would have been wide open too. If he actually ran the actual Chip Kelly mesh that he usually runs,
That'd be a
because
deadly play right there. I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be
yeah,
deadly.
because that linebacker right there, he's a little bit out of position to where he won't get to Jalen Richard by the time he did that. So that is something they could look at just for later on if they see it on tape. But this one's is a little different. It's going to add kind of a fade route with Nelson Aguilar to the mesh. So this is a new play. The Raiders haven't ran this play ever, to be honest.
No,
I've never
no,
seen
they
them run
have.
mesh. No, they have?
Oh, with the mesh. I don't know about the mesh component, but this is the exact play that Rico Gafford scored on against Titans last year.
Well, that's true. That's true. But you got a good point there. But this
To
is
the
what.
front side. What? Yeah, to the play
But was
side.
there mesh on that one? I don't remember. I don't
I
recall.
don't know. I don't know about the backside. I can't remember about the backside. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But this is something rare that we see with the mesh added. So that also tells me that John's adding some new wrinkles to the offense too as well, which is awesome for the outlook for the Raiders season. So let's go ahead and run this play. This play is just this is a great route by Nelson Aguilar. Great release, great route. And he shows a lot of upside, and this is after Ruggs went down. So this kind of shows the Raiders' depth too they have this year, because Ruggs goes down. Because I can imagine this is a Ruggs player. The Raiders
Right.
have they were featuring Ruggs like crazy. I really feel like Ruggs was gonna, if he didn't have that knee injury and they kind of just kept him out there as a decoy, I really felt like Ruggs was gonna have like 7 or 8 catches by the end of that game.
Yeah.
The way they were using him and
Right.
manufacturing the ball to him.
They're
He was getting
forcing it to him for
manufacturing
sure.
touches. Yeah,
Right.
right. Manufacturing touches. So let's go ahead and run this run. This is a great throw. Right on the boom. Right on the money. Let's run it back one more time.
There's a lot of
And
great
this,
things. A lot of great things Nelson Aguilar does there. My goodness. When
yes,
Nelson
I'm saying like
Aguilar is your fourth best wide receiver, you got some serious depth.
this is depth, right? Because this is right here. He stacks him right here. He's already stacked him. Then he kind of blocks him off too from even getting a chance to knock the ball down, right? This
Yeah.
is textbook stuff.
If you go back to the actual catch point here, if you go to the catch point, my favorite part of this is something that the best wide receivers do, is that he doesn't right here, he doesn't go up for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps his hands low because DBs are trained to, when they go up, you go up as a DB. So if he never goes up, he keeps his hands low the entire time. The ball just drops right into his hands, and the DB is caught off guard. They didn't even know it was coming. So there's a lot of high level technique here. Got a great release. He gets him stacked. Has low hands at the catch point. Nelson Aguilar is not your average fourth wide receiver. Okay, guys.
No, he's not. No, he's not. And that shows the depth of this offense and what they're going to be prepared to do. And like I said, Derek Carr ran this offense pretty damn well all week. He got him in the right play, and we'll talk about it next. Next, we'll talk about these RPOs, which the Raiders ran a few RPOs last year, but this game was RPO heavy. They ran about 6 RPOs this game, so it was very very RPO heavy, and there's a lot of variations, a lot of new wrinkles. Now, the Raiders have ran this RPO before, so basically what this RPO is basically a tight end, like a tight end speed out with Darren Waller. And they have ran this before. Like if you go back 2018 with the Broncos in the Monday night game against the Broncos, they ran this a couple times. But there's a new wrinkle here. The new wrinkle is the new toy, which is Henry Ruggs, right? So we're going to get an orbit motion here with Henry Ruggs right before this RPO. And then Derek Carr makes the correct decision. With the open space that Henry Ruggs opens up, right? So here we go. Right. So like I said, this opens up the space. This makes it an easy read for Carr when he's going to Waller, right? And Carr probably already knows it before he's running the RPO. He's probably going to Waller, to be honest. Basically, especially based on these reads. So let's go ahead and check this out.
It's also, this is that pre-step motion is a coverage indicator that shows that they're in man coverage here, so he knows that the concept is going to work immediately.
Exactly, he knows the concept is going to work immediately, and especially we got a little pick up at the top with Hunter Renfrow. So you got a little pick up at the top of Hunter Renfrow. You already see how it's opening up, and he has an easy play to Darren Waller, right? Boom. Nice little first down. So bring it back a little bit. All right. Boom. Right there at the top there, Darren Waller on the out route. Nice play. They manufactured a lot of touches to him too as well. Now, here we go again. Now we're kind of in not the same look because Henry Ruggs is not going to be doing the orbit motion this time, but this is the same RPO design. But this time, Carr is going to decide to hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs. But what it does, since they already ran this, you're going to watch Shaq Thompson. He is going to totally just he's watching Waller, so he's going to be taken out of the play completely before it even starts. As soon as the ball snap and Derek Carr starts the fake to Josh Jacobs, he's not even looking at the backfield. He's looking at Darren Waller. And Darren Waller is going to kind of basically take him out of the play because they already ran this and they already hit Waller on that same RPO, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That John Gruden was calling a game. He had a great game plan, and this is after his first 15 too. Usually, what we talk about with John Gruden is sometimes after his first 15 he can struggle a little bit, but this game was totally different. He was just cooking. He was cooking all game, man. He was cooking. I loved it. I loved every second of watching this on the replay. I wish I had the all 22 to watch more of it, but I was loving it, to be honest, man. He got me excited for what he's doing with this offense, especially how he's using Henry Ruggs. So let's go ahead and check this out. Right, so you see at the top, you can see Darren Waller. There's Shaq Thompson getting taken out of the play. There's Hunter Renfrow. He's looking just in case Carr doesn't want to keep it and throw it to him, right? He can throw it to Waller. He keeps it, but look at Derek Carr, right? Look at Derek Carr's eyes. Derek Carr's eyes, he's on the two receivers, right? So that's a little deception of this play too. Now Cole Miller kind of gets his butt whipped here, but that's fine because we got Josh Jacobs. That's what Josh Jacobs is for.
Incognito gets his butt whipped too here by Whitehead. He gets tossed.
Yeah, they all get their butts whipped a little bit, but that's why we got Josh Jacobs. That's why we got Josh Jacobs here. So let's go back a little bit.
You can't win them all in the NFL. He's a grown man.
You can't win them all, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. So
it makes the box lighter, right? It makes the
100%, right? Yeah, and they did that all game, and they had light boxes for pretty much the game. One stat that I saw is Josh Jacobs last year they faced 8-man boxes 40% of the time. On Sunday they had it 28%. So
Mm.
that's a Henry Ruggs effect too. I'm telling you, Henry Ruggs doesn't even have to get the ball. He changes his whole offense. Doesn't even have to touch it. Doesn't
There
even
you
touch the
go.
football.
There you
Doesn't even
go.
have to touch the football.
Right. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And then Josh Jacobs just make it happen. I love this stutter.
Oh, that little
So
hezzy right
nasty.
there. Yeah. The
The
hesitation.
hesitation, so nasty. He's such a
Yeah.
beast, man, and he's getting so much better too, man. I mean, we talked about power in the goal line, man. He was awesome on the goal line.
Yeah.
Power. So you know he is working on his game and his craft. He's running some great routes this week too, man. We talked about the angle route, and he killed Shaq Thompson on the angle route.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a great game, man. He's ready to play. Now here's another one that they ran a lot this game, which they ran off some run plays too, which is an RPO the Raiders like to run is this wide receiver screen RPO.
Yeah.
Now they ran it earlier in the game too. They ran it with Waller, right? And then the next time they ran the kind of same look. Well, actually, I'll go back to this. The first play of the game, they kind of ran this kind of a look with Waller. Sorry, not Waller. I forgot who ran this the first time, but they ran this look a lot and kind of gave a deception and kind of opened things up with this. So there was some setup with this play, right? We're in the second quarter. Um, they were handing the ball off a couple times, running this design, but still having the guy who's where Hunter Renfrow is. When you see the design of this play where Hunter Renfrow is lined up, they had that man kind of still do this motion without even having the ball pass to
Yeah.
him, but they would hand it
Right.
off, correct? Right.
It's a
So that's the
constraint. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So yeah. So this is exactly what they want to do with the RPO, right? And then you guys can see it. I mean, the the blockers, the offensive linemen, they're going forward. They're running. They are making sure that it's a run play no matter what. This is all on Derek Carr. This is all his read, right?
Right.
And then Hunter Renfrow and them, they're prepared. And then you got I forgot who the other receiver is at the top, but you got Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller up there, and Renfrow running this play. I think it's A. Jones, right? Oh, that's Henry Ruggs. Nice block, Ruggs.
Ruggs and Edwards, the rookies. Oh no, it's Waller. It's
Yeah.
Waller. It's Waller.
That's Ruggs, right? That's Ruggs, right? Ruggs
Yeah,
11.
it's Ruggs and Waller. Yeah, Edwards at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, but he has a great block later on too. But this
Right.
is a great block. This is a great setup. Great call. Boom, setup. Great block on Ruggs. This is Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin's 230 pounds. Ruggs is 190. You
Soaking
guys want
wet.
to put that in perspective?
185.
185. Great blocks right there. Bam, first down. And like I said, man, this was just great stuff all around, dude. Just great stuff and great designs that we saw all game. And they were able to move the ball at will. I'm telling you, 6 yards a pop with a little quick passing offense. I'm telling you, that's going to go a long way in the NFL right now, the way the NFL is. So let's go up here. Where we at? Right. So yeah, so we got the RPOs, all that good stuff. The offense was just moving the ball at will. It was a great game plan. I loved everything about it. I loved how balanced they were. They were 51% run, 49% pass.
Yeah.
And they were switching it up. 11 personnel. 11 personnel was the primary personnel they were running still,
Yeah.
but 12 personnel was second. 20, 25%, 12 personnel, 47%, 11 personnel, right? But it's the NFL. It's today's NFL. You're gonna see more 11 personnel than anything else. But
Let me ask you a quick question. A couple
go
quick
ahead.
questions I got for you.
Uh huh.
Those 3 Josh Jacobs touchdown runs.
Uh huh.
How many of them had a fullback?
How many of them had a fullback? All right. I know the one of them didn't have a fullback with a shotgun. So let me check this out. So one of them was a lead power. They were in 23 personnel. They had a lead power, 23 personnel for that one. That was no wide receivers, and that was the first and goal after the big play to Ruggs. So that was one of them. The other one, the other touchdown. Let me pull it up. That was a power O out of shotgun though. So that was out of shotgun. So that had no and that was actually that was 11 personnel for that one.
Okay.
And then the last touchdown as well, that was 13 personnel. So there's no fullback on the field. There's only fullback on the field for one of them. The other two
So
did not have a fullback on the field.
how about this? Last year, Josh Jacob only had a rushing touchdown when Alec Ingold was on the field.
Yeah.
Look it
And
up.
but that's what I'm talking about. That's his growth to
Right.
me in power. That's
Okay,
his
there you go.
growth in everything, in power, and understanding how to get in the end zone and how to find his way into the end zone. So there was a lot. That's what I'm saying. That's why I love this week, because a lot of people didn't like the Raiders offense last year and they want to bring up points per game, blah, blah, blah. Josh DeBow points per game, Josh DeBow points per game,
Josh
whatever,
DeBow.
19.6. I heard it all damn offseason, but, it was
Yeah.
annoying to me. And, people got mad at me. They got all sensitive to me when I said the offense was good, whatever. They didn't score points. And I get it. You guys are upset because the end of the year they were pretty bad scoring points. And I understand that. But last year they moved the ball at will.
Yeah, right.
This year, the first game, they moved the ball at will. They finished drives this year. They put up 34 points. So, and obviously, with how Ruggs plays and a couple explosive plays they did get, we're gonna have more explosive plays, right? Because one of these touchdowns wasn't even in the red zone.
Yeah, right.
3 of them were, but one wasn't. So since one wasn't in the red zone, that tells me that we're gonna get more explosive plays.
Yeah.
So if the Raiders, one thing they do, people talk about, a lot of analysts talk about, is offense from the previous year usually falls itself into the next year, and defense is more volatile. Like a really good defense the year before might not always be a great defense the next year, right?
Yeah.
But usually offense kind of it's the same thing. So
especially when it's same quarterback, same play caller. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. They're going to stay on schedule. They're going to be in the right plays. And I mean, if you might get mad at these checkdowns and stuff like that, but if they move the football, nobody cares, right? I don't care what it looks like or what the short passing game. They move the football, they score points, they average 6 yards a damn play. I mean, that's what they averaged last year, and you average 6 yards a play, you should score points, right? And that's why I wasn't as worried going into this year about how this offense is going to look. But now that I saw it and I saw what John's vision is for Henry Ruggs and what he wants to do with Henry Ruggs, man, I think this is going to be a big year for the offense. I think it's and if the defense can catch up, man, I don't know. I'm trying not to be my homer's coming out a little bit when I watched it. I won't gonna lie, BD. My homer was coming out.
One more question. I got one. I got one for the defense, but can you give me a performer, someone who has flown under the radar? People aren't giving him a lot of praise, or at least on this show, we haven't talked about him yet on offense. Someone who needs some shine right now.
Who needs some shine? I mean, to be honest, I'll give Bryan Edwards a lot of shine. I know he's not going to get a lot of shine this week because he only got one target. I mean, he did the most of his target. He took that screen and he got a tough 9 yards and he kind of showed what he could do with the ball in his hand. But he played the most snaps of all the wide receivers and he blocked his ass off. That's all he did was block, and he was moving corners. And if he's going to be a factor like that in the run game too, he's never coming off the field.
Never.
He's never come off the field.
All right.
He's not coming off the field at all. And eventually he's gonna start getting more targets. And then eventually so I'm saying, like, maybe that's what we were missing in camp that a lot of people didn't notice and maybe they didn't factor in. Like, yeah, he might be running all these routes and he's super impressive, but he must have been blocking in camp too.
Right.
Like, because the game winning drive, the game winning run block that, I posted on Twitter, man, he just dominated Troy Pride on that. And Troy Pride couldn't even get off him. It was like he was, a fullback himself.
Right.
So if he's blocking like that, man, he was such a factor in the run game. And I don't think he's going to get enough praise for that. And, a lot of fans are upset and trying to figure out why he wasn't getting his targets and all that stuff. And a lot of it was the coverage that which I don't have all 22, but a lot of it was the coverage of the Panthers are playing. As soon as they try to go deep at Ruggs, the Panthers were like, nope. That's not happening.
Yeah, right.
And,
we're selling out to stop that. Yeah.
We're selling out to stop that. And a thing that I noticed too, even just watching from the broadcast, is that Waller is getting bracketed.
Oh yeah, of course.
Here, Waller is not beating the Raiders. So Derek Carr is going to have to go to other people and open it up for Waller later on in the season, where they have to decide, am I doubling Waller or am I doubling Henry Ruggs? Because even the play, the deep cross, they're in quarters, right? But even if you're playing man match quarters, right, and the corner, he's still right with Darren Waller. The safety shouldn't just come up and just double Darren Waller automatically. Obviously, that's a play call. They're doubling Darren Waller if he came across the middle or whatever, it came across the safety. That was the play call. And as soon as he came down, Henry Ruggs is wide open over the top. And things like that, they're going to have to stop that, or they're going to keep getting beat deep.
Yeah.
And then that's going to open up things for Waller. And then Waller's going to start eating like how he was, because they were manufacturing touches to him too. He was getting touches manufactured to him, right? Screens, quick hitches, whatever they need to do to kind of get the ball in his hands, see if he can do something with the ball, right? But every time he ran downfield to run an actual route or anything like that wasn't a screen or a quick hitch, he was doubled. There was somebody else. They were making sure they had their eyes on Waller. And even the play that I showed on the sale, like Shaq Thompson, he just said, forget Jacobs, I'm going back on Waller.
Yeah.
They were all over him. So that's going to open up a lot of things for this offense too. Because if teams are going to treat Waller like he deserves to be treated, let's be honest, it's going to open up so much, man. This offense has me pretty excited. I'm not going to lie.
Definitely agree. Offense has there's a lot, and just, a couple plays that we can put into this episode. You can't even get to everything.
I can't get to everything. I can't.
So, but going back to what I was saying before. Okay, so we're saying Brian Edwards deserves shine. I think on the defensive side of the ball, Nick Kwiatkowski. Well, first of all, linebacker play incredibly improved. Whoa, just even huge bro. Yeah, Morrow, right. And that's perfect. Him being a situational linebacker that's his perfect role for him, not, an every down player like we saw him play down the stretch last year. Yeah. And I think he's improved from last year to this year. But Nick Kwiatkowski, guys, Raider Nation, you're going to love this guy. People are going to be buying his jerseys like crazy. I had him. So I do something similar when I'm charting the defense. You were calling it a success rate. So I call it a stop rate. So it's a certain amount of yards that they have to, that if an offense gains on first down, right? That's a stop. If it's, like under 3 yards, if it's a 1st and 10, et cetera. I don't do the percentages. I just do amount of yards. Yeah. So if it's 3 yards or under that the offense gains on first down, that's a stop, right? If it's another 3 yards and under, it turns it into a 3rd and long, right? On second down. Yeah. So if after second down comes, it's 3rd and 6 or more, I consider that a stop. And then for a 3rd down, then you need, obviously if you stop a first down from happening, then that's a stop, right? Yeah. Nick Kwiatkowski led the Raiders in stops. I know Jonathan Abram was flying around the field, right, guys? But Nick Kwiatkowski, he had a flawless game. He did nothing wrong the entire game. He was, filling the run perfectly. Fantastic run player. He was targeted twice in coverage. He did not give up a single catch. Mm-hmm. This guy is an all-around player. And a lot of people were saying, they were saying that he's really good in coverage and he's not that great against the run or something like that. No, this guy is fantastic against the run. He's better against the run. I think he's better against the run than he is against the pass, honestly. Yeah. And we haven't even seen him blitz. So hopefully that shoulder or the pec isn't gonna, bother him, all season long. Hopefully he can shake back from that, because that'd be a huge blow if the Raiders lost him. He was fantastic. He was fantastic for the defense. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just nice seeing a more talented team, I guess. Right. They're just talented. And it's, to me, to be honest, it's on John Gruden to kind of make sure this talent, he maximizes. He's got to maximize his talent on this team. And I thought the offensive game plan the first week was great. And I'm interested to see what he's going to cook up this week for the Saints. So it's going to be super interesting to me especially the rest of the year. I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah. All right. Saints next week. We'll see about if we can get you guys a show in the meantime between now and Sunday. So stay tuned for any announcements on that.
Yep.
Raider Nation. So you want to say anything about the Saints real quick before we get out of here?
Yeah. I watched the game. Hopefully I can get some more the all 22 and get a little bit of a deep dive of exactly what they're doing. One thing that I do find interesting though is that they play man a lot.
A lot of man. Yep.
They play a
Saints.
lot of man, and last year the Raiders were really good against man.
Hmm.
They also blitz a lot, and Derek Carr's really good against the blitz. So I think this matchup is a little bit more um, not as crazy or lopsided as people are going to think, especially if they don't have Michael Thomas. That was a big loss for them. They don't
Huge
have Michael
loss.
Thomas,
Huge loss.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to be as lopsided as they think, and I think Derek Carr with man coverage, especially John Gruden with man coverage. I mean, Derek Carr was the best quarterback against man coverage last year. I don't know if you knew that. He threw like 14 touchdowns against man coverage. Yeah, he only threw 21. He threw 14 against man coverage. So he had like they did this thing called expected points added. He was number one in that. Like he was on fire last year against man coverage, and it has a lot to do with how John schemes against man coverage too.
Yeah, right.
So it's going to be interesting because when John sees man coverage, he loves his crossers.
Right.
He will cross you like crazy, and I expect to see a lot of those crossers from inside the slot. Not even the deep crossers, more the intermediate crossers with Waller and things like that, because the Saints are probably they're going to be putting safeties on Waller. They're probably going to put like Marcus Williams and stuff like that. Those guys are going to come down, or even maybe they might even put Marshawn on him. I don't know. The way the Panthers played Waller has me interested about how the rest of the NFL is going to play him. So, I mean, Marshawn followed Mike Evans all around last game and was a pest with him. And
he went both sides with Mike Evans.
He went both sides with Mike Evans. Yeah, he followed him all around.
And what about the slot, or did he play on the outside?
Played in the slot too.
He played in the slot too.
Yeah, play him in the slot.
So they just played. Were they playing cover one, or were they playing two high safeties?
They mixed it up a little bit. They mixed it up. It was mostly on third down though. They were cover one third down. Third down, their philosophy is like, we're gonna beat you up, press you across the board. Janoris Jenkins, he's good against press too. So we're gonna press you across the board and see if you can beat us off the line. So the Raiders have probably got to work a lot of the middle of the field. I really don't expect a big game from Edwards or anybody like that. I mean, it depends on how they use Ruggs or how they move him around. They could probably create some space, especially with the man-to-man stuff. I think they might be able to, because I mean, if Marshawn Lattimore misses or somebody like that, it's not gonna be fun for them. So it's gonna be interesting. I wonder how they're gonna play him, because if Dennis Allen knows Derek Carr, he's not gonna blitz him, because Derek Carr is good against the blitz. But maybe people are if they don't play Derek Carr a lot, the Chiefs don't blitz Derek Carr, but when the Raiders play the Bucs later on, the Bucs are gonna blitz Derek Carr, because they don't that's their philosophy, and they're not going to try to switch it up just for Derek. So it's going to be interesting, man. Another thing though, I do know what's going to happen. They're going to be able to run the ball on the Saints though.
Yeah, the Saints are the opposite of what Paul Gunther. They don't care about stopping the run, because and it's complementary football. Let's go to their offense. Their offense is the best version of what John Gruden and Derek Carr's offense could be.
Yeah,
right?
I was calling
the Drew Brees, Sean Payton. That's the best that this could ever become, right?
It's funny, BD, because it was funny. I was calling out some of their plays, which tells me like.
It's all West Coast. It's all West Coast.
It looked familiar. Like, oh, that looks familiar.
Right.
The same design.
So, I mean, obviously, Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they've been together forever. I mean, Drew Brees is basically a coach on the field now. He's like an offensive coordinator who plays quarterback now, right? And so they're going to ball control you. And, if they put together these, 14 play drives that take 9-10 minutes off the clock, and the Raiders are playing, down from behind, that's when it could get ugly.
Yeah, that's true.
And I know you're saying Derek Carr is really great against the blitz and, against man coverage and everything, but once you start playing from behind and you abandon that run game, it's a wrap. for this team. And I don't think that, Derek Carr, no disrespect to the man. Most quarterbacks aren't like this.
Yeah.
Okay, where they can just play from, down with the whole thing on their shoulders against NFL defenses. So the defense has to get off the field. Got to get a couple 3-and-outs for this to, not go lopsided for the Raiders.
And to be honest, man, the Saints offense did not look impressive week one. And that's what it goes back. Is the Bucs defense just really, really good, or is the Saints offense just not good this year?
Bucs defense is really good.
Well, I know, because they're stacked, bro.
The Bucs have a really good defense.
Have you watched Carlton Davis? Have you watched him before?
Yeah, I've watched Carlton Davis. I like a lot of their players on their defense, man.
He had Michael Thomas on lockdown. Michael Thomas couldn't get open. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. And that's why Drew Brees struggled. So now he doesn't have Michael Thomas at all. So It's and Drew Brees missed a lot of throws.
I've been seeing that actually from Drew Brees recently. Last year especially, I was noticing Drew Brees airmail. A few of them were just thrown right in the dirt. So I think the arm strength is waning on him.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see that team without Michael Thomas and who he's gonna lean on to throw. I mean, it's basically gonna be a lot of Alvin Kamara and Jared Cook.
Jared Cook is probably gonna be their number one option, right? Who else is wide receivers? They got
Traquan Smith.
Traquan Smith and Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah,
are the guys. What do you think about Traquan Smith?
I mean, he hasn't done anything yet. I don't think he can get open consistently.
He can't uncover.
No, he can't uncover the NFL now.
That's nothing for Trayvon then, right?
Yeah, it's nothing for Trayvon. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be an interesting game, man, because I don't know how this is gonna match up. I don't know how, what Saints team is gonna show up, because if the week one Saints team shows up, the Raiders are gonna be in that game. That's all I'm gonna say. But if the 2019 playoff Saints team shows up, it might be totally different. But if that same team that played last week, that team does not scare anybody. Team does not scare me at all. I mean, they didn't really have any huge explosive plays. Alvin Kamara wasn't able to run the ball. They weren't able to run the ball at all.
I think that the Saints defense is actually better than their offense, bro.
I agree with that 100%. Their defense is way better. Their defense.
I mean, the defense is good, bro.
The reason why they won that game is because of their defense.
Yeah,
they wouldn't. That game would have been super close if they didn't have. They had a blocked field goal, they had a pick six, and then they had an interception that put them right in the red zone. So so the Saints scored off one of them. They scored off another one, right? And then they got the blocked field goal.
Yeah.
Bro, it wasn't like this dominant performance by the Saints offense, right? So that's
here's just a couple of things I'll highlight. Everyone knows about Demario Davis from last year. Okay, kind of burst on the scene, but he's been playing in the NFL for 9 years or something like that. This is a really good linebacker in the NFL. And when I was watching him last year, leading in the playoffs, he's playing his butt off. That guy's fantastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Marshawn Lattimore. Everyone knows about Marshawn Lattimore. Fantastic corner. Okay. Janoris Jenkins is a slept-on corner in the NFL. Yeah. I really like his tape going back, 5-6 years. He has had some really good tape in the NFL. And when he's when he's on a good defense, he plays his best.
Yeah.
And then you got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And this is an up-and-coming slot corner hybrid. Is he a safety? Is he a corner? He can play similar to Malcolm Jenkins and Devin McCourty, in that vein. Really like that guy. So there's a lot of great things, great pieces that they have on defense. I gotta say, I'm not as optimistic as you.
I can understand that. Because you forgot Marcus Williams too.
And I'm not even talking about Hayward on the line, right?
Yeah, Cam Johnson, Cam Jordan.
Cam Jordan, yeah.
Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Sheldon Rankins. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's they're gonna have to run the ball, bro. Basically.
Yeah.
If they can run the ball and stay on schedule, they got to run the ball, stay on schedule. I think they'll be able to hang. I'm not gonna go out there and say that they're gonna beat the Saints. I think it'll be a good game though.
Yeah,
it'll be a good game.
I think they have more of a chance than what like national media is probably giving them.
Yeah.
And something that I feel strongly about is when any team's playing a primetime game, right? The margin for victory, it comes closer for both teams here. It's going to be a dogfight. All these guys knowing the whole world's watching. It's definitely a gut check. Source of pride for people. So I've always noticed that these primetime games, these Monday night games, these Sunday night games, are much closer than you would think a lot of times. So I'll say that.
Man. I agree. All right, man. Any other final thoughts, bro?
That's it for me, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be putting up more Twitter, social media content. Posting this episode on a lot of different platforms. So if you found this on Reddit, you found this at silverandblackpride.com. Hey guys, keep on listening. All right, guys.
Yeah. 100%. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We're already at 200. Let's keep us moving, man. Let's get us over 300 now. Let's get to 300, then let's get to 400. Let's keep it moving there. Make sure you hit us on Apple and Spotify, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL, at BD Williams 18. We're going to be doing this for you guys every week, with other little content mixed in there. Little breakdowns, small little breakdowns like we've been doing for the past month. So we're going to keep it going for you, and we're going to keep giving you guys this content. So we really appreciate you guys following us for sure. So enjoy this episode. We really appreciate you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys liked it. Liked the little information that we gave you. Maybe we gave you a little bit of tidbits you didn't think you saw during the game. That's the point of this whole show. So I really hope you guys appreciate it. All right. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Raider Nation.